right, so let's just start this. Dawn Santrisa, can you hear me? Can you hear? Can you hear me? All right, great. So welcome back to What's Next. This is going to be an interesting discussion. So if you could tag somebody, tell me where you're watching from. Hey, Kevin. If you could hashtag live, tell me where you're watching from. If you could share this. Music still playing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Today we're talking about what's next. It is my first pop-up of 2024. And I was thinking it's really kind of like my State of the Union address. And so I think it's going to be pretty exciting for those of you who care and those of you who don't care and you just love me. Thanks for showing up. So we'll take a few minutes and let's tag people. Let's share with people. Let's get people back who were here before. And I want to talk about what's next. So I want you to hashtag what's next. That's what I want you to hashtag what's next. I want to talk about what's next. I want to talk about what's going on with me, how I think it will impact those of you who are connected to me. And I want to tell you guys a funny story in just 1 second. So it is Saturday, January the 5th, 2024. It is my first live of 2024. And interestingly, one of my mentors that I was listening to talked about how important it was to document the transitions. I'm going to call it document the shift. And so for those of you who are connected to me, I'm going to challenge you to document your shifts as well. And so when I start talking a little more, I'm going to start, it's the 6th. I'm going to start in just a minute or so, and I'm going to be talking about what's happening for me and what's going on and what I hope to bring to the world in this next year and beyond. So, well, we might as well jump into it because I am super excited. My name is Shawn Strickland, and most of you know me either because you know me as one of the pastors where I pastor Fellowship of Champions Church International with my husband, my super cute husband, Pastor Edwin Strickland, or you know me from Facebook because of the work that I do with Soul Shift about helping people transform their mind. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what's next because some of you are going to care. It's going to be a really big deal to you. Some of you, it won't make any difference. But thanks for listening anyway. So I just want to tell you that I have officially been in business for 12 years this month. Now, before I was officially in business, I spent about 3 years kind of side hustling, not really making any money. So that makes it a total of about 15 years. But it was in January 2012 that I really thought, man, I can do this. I can actually build something. And for those of you, the other day, Pastor Chris sent me a post of the first time that I did Live Your Dreams. And Live Your Dreams was simply this program based on a word God gave me that every one of us have a God-given dream. And I still passionately believe that every one of us have a God-given dream. And so I began to teach these 3 principles. Anybody who was with me in the beginning, you remember those principles, the CBAs of dream manifestation. Those CBAs have become the CBAs for dream manifestation, the CBAs for shifting, the CBAs for building a business, because they're in reality, they are the fundamentals of what everybody has to do to get transformation. What are those? The CBAs: clarity, belief, and action. If you're going to change something, you need to know what you want, where you're located, and how to get there. If you want to change something, you have to believe that change is possible. And if you want to change something, you have to take the right action. Those are the CBAs. So I taught the CBAs for several years, and then I added a D, which is decision, because the thing I realized is that even if you have clarity, and even if you have belief, and even if you have action, the truth of it is that nothing changes until you make a new decision. Nothing changes till you make a new decision. Throughout this work, I have primarily worked with Black Christian women. I primarily work with Black Christian women. If you know me, you know that I have a deep heart for Black Christian women. That doesn't mean that I don't care about men. It doesn't mean that I don't care about white women or Hispanic women. It doesn't mean that I don't care about non-believers. It means that I have a very specific call and passion to Black Christian women. I believe that is because I was raised by a Black Christian woman in a community of Black Christian women. And what I grew up watching was women who gave their all, who always served, who always showed up, and still always struggled. And I remember as early as 8 years old, being very perplexed by the idea that you could go to church every Sunday and still struggle financially, and that you could help all of these people and nobody would show up to help you. So I really believe with all of my heart that it is a part of the mission that God, it's a part of the problem that God has called me to serve in the earth. A part of the problem that I am called to solve in the earth is to help Black women, Black Christian women specifically, be able to own that they have the right to for total life prosperity, which includes building wealth. So as I taught the CBAs, I used to work with clients one-on-one. And what I found is that there were two reasons that most women, most of my clients, were not reaching their goals. Tell me if this resonates with you. It was either an issue of belief or it was an issue of money. And I'm going to submit to you that the issue of belief always impacted the issue of money, because I am still convinced to this day that if you are convinced, you will find a way. And if not, you will find an excuse. Now, that's one of those things that you should write down so you can remember throughout this year. If you're convinced, you will find a way. And if you are not, you will find an excuse. And I have always been, I say that in personal development, especially faith-based personal development, that the thing that you got to do is get high off of your own supply. And I always do the work first. I always do the work first. And what I found is that when I got serious, I could find a way. And when I wasn't serious, I would find an excuse. And it is the reason that I spent from 2009 to about 2013, literally saying to my friends and family, don't buy me anything for Christmas. This is a true story. The reason money became my favorite gift, the reason that money became the way to show me that you love me, is because I had young kids, I wasn't working. And so the way that I paid for the coaching programs, the way that I paid for the training programs, the way that I paid for those things was to say to my friends and family, please, do not buy me any gifts. Please give me whatever money you were going to give me so I can pay for this program, right? And those of you, I took off my nails, but let me tell you something I did that let me know I was serious. Baby, I got braids. I used to go to the beauty shop every week and I got braids. And I want to tell you that with a passion, I hated braids. But more than I hated braids, I believed in what I was created to do. So anyway, fast forward, because we're talking about what's next. If you're rocking with me, say what's next. So I have always had this desire to be able to help Black Christian women make money, but I had to become the first Black woman that I helped make money. So I had to help myself first. So as I began to build this business, many of you have heard this story before. You know that I struggled a lot with charging people. And I think it came from a twofold thing. I think it came from watching brilliant Black women give away their gifts, talents, and abilities all the time. And I also think it came from being a Christian. It's one of the reasons that I believe that while I'm willing to teach anybody, I believe that what has to happen in the shift of Black Christian women before you give yourself permission to make a lot of money is a very different thing, because we are conditioned first as Black women that it is our responsibility. Even if your mama didn't tell you, you watched your mama. How many of you got a mama or a grandmama and you watched her give her last? You watched her serve when she should have been resting. You watched her show up for people even when nobody showed up for her. And this is one of those things where we become what we see, even if they're telling us to be better. My grandmother 100% told me, go to college, get away, build your own dreams, all of these different things. But what I also had very loudly in my head was her messaging, the constant sacrifice, watching her say no to people, yes to people, when she absolutely 100% should have said, no, I cannot help you. I will not help you. And what began to evolve for me, I'm going somewhere with this story, right? That what began to evolve for me is that I realized in order to get free, I had to become like the little red hen. And if you remember the little red hen, the childhood story of the little red hen, there's this hen, and this hen, she goes out to the rest of the farm animals and she says, hey, listen, winter's coming, let's plant some grain. And nobody else is interested. And then she says, let's water some grain, and nobody else is interested. And then she says, let's harvest some grain, and nobody else is interested. And then she says, let's take the grain into town to be milled up so we can make bread, and nobody else is interested. And when she cooks the bread, when nobody else is interested in cooking, everybody shows up and wants to eat, and she says no. And I realized that while this is hard for many Black Christian women, that one of our biggest challenges is that we partner with people who won't plant, who won't water, who won't protect, who won't harvest, who won't cook, but expect to eat. So I had to become my version of the little red hen, a woman who was willing to say, no, I won't help you. No, I won't help you pay your car note when you're not going to pay me back and you're going to go on vacation. I won't do that anymore. And let me tell you something, it took a major soul shift, because I cannot tell you the amount of guilt I used to feel about saying no to people who were not willing to say yes to themselves. Now, listen, that's a word right there. I would feel guilty about saying no to people who were unwilling to say yes to themselves. What do I mean? People who wanted to borrow money from me, but they weren't willing to tithe. They weren't willing to manage their finances better. People who wanted me to sit on the phone with them, but they weren't willing to read the books that I was reading. People who wouldn't even come to the events that I had, even if I gave them a free seat, or they came and they were bored, or they came and they talked to each other. And I had to shift. Can everybody say shift? Is this a shift that resonates with anybody else? And my husband gave me a piece of advice that actually changed my life. He changed my life when he said to me, all of the energy that you have spent trying to convince other people to go, use it on yourself. Now, I'm telling you, all y'all been trying to get a word for the year. But for the record, your word should always just be obey God, because if you obey God, you'll do the rest of the stuff. But that was free. You didn't ask for that, right? But listen, the word that he gave me that absolutely changed my life. And every time something resonates with you, I either want you to put hashtag what's next, or I want you to hashtag shift. Why? Because I want this to really resonate, and I want you to get your girlfriends on here, and I want you to get your friends and your cousins on here, right? And I love that Dexter Lee says, just know that you are helping at least one Christian Black man right now. I'm glad to hear it. So anyway, what began to happen is that I began to teach this work, and what I began to find in this work is that women were stuck either because of their belief system or money, but their belief system really the belief system was really the lid on their money. So many of you know this, a lot of this is repeat, but I'm trying to tell you where I've been in order to tell you where I'm going. So in 2018, it had to be 2018. In 2018 or 2019, one of the years, and the reason I don't remember the year is that I don't keep tragic stuff in my head. So let me give you an example. I don't know what day people died that I loved. I don't keep that in my mind. I don't give the enemy a reason to torment me by holding on to that. I remember days that they were born. I remember significant days that we had together, but I do not keep in my mind the days that tragic things happened to me. I intentionally store beautiful memories. That was another thing that just helped somebody. Anyway, so as you know, in November of either 2018, 2019, I had a pretty bad wreck. I believe that it was November of 2018. I was hit by a drunk driver who didn't have any insurance. And let me tell you what happened, that after I said, thank you, Jesus, as I'm surrounded in glass and airbags, what I say is I cannot afford to die. That's going to be the next major thing that's going to change my life. I am seated, surrounded by glass. Every airbag in my car has deployed. There are 3 amazing men who are trying to extract me from my car. And I say, thank you, Jesus. And the next thing I say is, I'm so glad I didn't die. I can't afford to die. And I had this revelation that I had spent a lot of my life giving away the best of me to people who did not value me enough to pay for it. And that if indeed I had died, that my husband could not continue to keep my kids at the standard that they were living at, because he was working. I was hustling a little bit, but I was the errand girl and I was the cook and I was the homework helper. And that if my husband had to work and do that without me, that they literally could not afford it. And before they got that glass off of me, I had decided that I would not stay in this situation. Before that, I was interested in making money. I was not committed in making money. And some of you are in this same place. You are interested in making money, and the interest comes up when there's Christmas and you cannot do what you need to do for your kids, or when somebody that you love has an emergency, or you have an emergency and it comes up and you get really interested, but you're not committed yet. And I need you to understand that until you commit, until you own your right, that as a born again believer, you have a right to prosper in every area of your life, including your money, you will continue to live in these cycles. Now, you know what I want you to do every time something resonates? I need you to share it with somebody, tag somebody, but I need you to either put what's next or to shift in these comments. Anyway, I am always the biggest consumer of my work. I'm always the biggest consumer of my work. So I begin to diligently work to say, how do I take this knowledge that I have, the ability that I have to help people solve their problems in order to create a company? How do I stop dabbling with a company? And I'm going to be super transparent with you guys. And part of the reason that I'm going to be super transparent is because I want to. It's my business to tell. But the other reason I'm going to be transparent is that because I have spent the past 15 years sitting in personal development classes, marketing classes. I have worked with some of the best people. And let me tell you something, my white male counterparts talk about the numbers. And one of the things that keeps Black women broke is we don't talk about the numbers. We don't talk about it. We've been conditioned that it's crash, that it's arrogance. But the reality of it is you need to hear my numbers. And not that my numbers are the best numbers, because I am well aware that there are lots of people that make a lot more money than I do. But I used to be the stay-at-home mom who loved Jesus, who was supporting my husband, who literally we couldn't afford to take a vacation unless it was in his budget. So I understand what it's like to be at that place. I've also worked at a job that I didn't like, but it was necessary to pay the bills. I understand what it's like to be at that place. But I also understand until Black women began to say we are willing to talk about the numbers and tell the truth about the money, that we are never going to have anybody who looks like us, who inspires us to move forward. So I was a hustler from 2009 to 2012, which means I made $8,000-$9,000. I made just enough money to close whatever gap may have existed in our family. From 2012 to 2017, I never made more than $30,000, because when you see where I'm going, I don't want you to think that I'm a person who doesn't understand your struggle. I don't want you to think that. I do understand that. I would be making like $30,000 a year, and people would be working with me and they would be going off making $100,000, $150,000. But I was still stuck in my own soul based on the lies that I believe, the money that I held. And I need everybody to hear this. You are not broke because you are Black. You are not broke because you are a woman. You are not broke because you are a Christian. You are not broke because you are educated. You are not broke because you are not educated. You are not broke for any other reason than you have never given yourself permission to be wealthy. You've never given yourself permission to be wealthy. You've never given yourself permission to be wealthy. You're interested in being wealthy, but you're not interested enough to do the tough stuff. And in fact, some of you right here, you will sacrifice everything for your kids, but you will not find the money to invest in yourself. And that's why you keep having to sacrifice everything for your kids. Well, amen. Anyway, so so before 2012, the most I probably made was $8,000. From 2013 to 2017, my business only made about $30,000, which was great for us, which is why I always celebrate anybody who made their first $30,000. It is a big deal. In 2018, I made almost $57,000. And baby, you couldn't tell me nothing. But at the end of 2018, I had the wreck. And that's when I decided I couldn't be broke. That's when I decided I couldn't afford to die. And for the first 4 months of 2019, y'all, this may not be, the year may not be exactly right, but the story's right. Yes, the first year of 2019, it is. The first year of 2019, the first part of 2019, I could not coach because anytime I would coach one-on-one, for whatever reason, it would give me vertigo. So I had to learn to rethink my business. And my doctor would have me spend large periods of time where like I couldn't be online, and all I could do was just like listen to teaching. So that's what I did. And then the Lord began to give me Soul Shift as a public program, which had been work that I had been doing before it had a name. And I had my first, I began to have my first Soul Shift classes, but no, I had my first Soul Shift classes in 2018, but I began to see what it could be in 2019. And I want to tell you something. In 2019, without being able to work the first 4 months of the year, I made $109,000. Somebody say, tell the numbers, tell the numbers, tell the numbers. I made $109,000. There were two expertise that were being developed in me at the same time. One of them was obvious and one of them wasn't obvious. The obvious one was my ability to help people shift their mind. The obvious one was the ability to help people manage their thinking, feeling cycle. That was the obvious one. But the less obvious one was what I was learning about marketing and sales. And I came, no, I wasn't in the wreck in 2017. I had the wreck after I knew you. The wreck was 2018. I had done my first Soul Shift classes, and then I had the wreck. I had done that. That's it. I done my first Soul Shift classes, which is how I got to 56,000. And then I had the wreck, which is when I got serious about making money. Is this helping anybody? So I'm not telling you this for you to clap for me. I'm telling you this for you to shift with me, because many of you, like me, have spent a decade with ideas that you don't fully develop because you have rejected the sales and marketing piece. And what I find for most Black Christian women is that you have a disdain for sales and marketing, and you have a disdain for sales and marketing because you don't understand what it means. And in reality, when you have a solution on the inside of you, when you have a solution on the inside of you, and you will not tell people that you have it, not only do you stay broke, not only can they not get help, but you leave the door open for a counterfeit to stand in the space that you're supposed to stand in. I'm going to say that again. When you refuse to manage, to become proficient, to embrace sales and marketing, not only do you keep yourself in a bad financial situation, number two, the people who are praying for you cannot find you. And number three, you open the door for the counterfeit. So many of you are sitting back and you are saying, it's not fair that so-and-so is in this space and they're not even that good. But baby, that's you. You won't occupy. You won't occupy. They're not as good as you, but they will market. They're not as good as you, but they will understand sales psychology. You're right. They're not as good as you, but you are too excited being a best kept secret, and a best kept secret doesn't change the world. And listen, I'm always a preacher first. And what I'm telling you is that I am preaching better than you are saying amen. And especially those of you who have a heart to represent God. You need to quit playing small and you need to take these spaces because you're upset because out here in personal development, they're talking about coochie steaming and they're talking about sage and they're talking about stars. Get louder, friend. It's because you are hiding. It is because you won't show up. It is because you are proficient at your task, but you are not proficient at getting your message out. Let me keep going. In 2020 was the biggest year of my business. And I told you I'm going to tell the numbers. Let me get my phone out because I don't want to be telling no lies. In 2020, in 2019, I made $109,000. In 2020, I made $311,000 in the midst of a pandemic when every preaching engagement I had got canceled, when there were no live events other than the first events in the first quarter. I made $311,000. I made $311,000 after somebody told me in December 2019 that if I kept talking about Jesus, if I kept talking about obedience, if I kept mixing my message, that I would never, ever make any significant money. And I made $311,000. Now, what's happening is that I'm getting better at helping people shift. You also need to understand this. When you work with a coach, when you work with a mentor, you are not paying for the hour that you work with me. You are paying for my ability to help you in an hour. And this is the really big gap why Black women minimize both what it means to invest in themselves and what they should be charging. And I'm just going to call y'all out since this is the State of the Union. The reality of it is that some of you are out here being coaches and you have never been coached by anybody. You have never invested. You have spent most of your time getting free product, which means you don't even understand the mental fortitude it takes to give somebody $5,000 because you ain't never done it. And the truth of it is that inauthenticity shows up in your marketing and it shows up in your messaging, because how are you asking me to go where you yourself refuse to go and you have not gone? All right, let's keep going. 2021. So I'm having a message, a shift that everybody can see. The shift is that I am getting better at helping people manage their think and feeling cycle. What it used to take me 2 hours to walk them through, I can now walk you through in about 15 minutes. I'm getting better and better because I'm spending time, but I'm also getting better at finding out who my audience is. I'm getting better in discerning between the woman who wants to cry about her problem and the woman who wants to change it. I'm getting better at finding my audience. I am getting better at showing up unapologetically in the space, and I am getting better and better at making money with no freaking apology. In 2021, I make, hold on, because I don't want y'all to be like, Pastor out here lying. In 2021, I make $411,000. So I increased by $100,000. And I love what Sabrina says. Sabrina says, the reason I'm not afraid to tell my numbers is that you can't get in my account. I don't care nothing about that. You need to hear my numbers. The truth of it is, it says that most Black women never make over $100,000. You need to know that Black women are out here doing it. In 2022, I made $476,000. And in 2023, I made $512,000. So when I talk about, when you're going to start to hear me talk about being $1 million expert, I have made $1.8 million in 5 years after not making more than $30,000. And this year I am on track to make over $1 million. And I want to tell you this, I want to be super transparent with you. If that makes you uncomfortable and you say you don't want to take one of my programs because I make so much and you make so little, I'm okay with that. But I'm going to tell you something, that if you wouldn't sow into somebody by sowing into yourself, someone who has done it, then I'm going to just tell you the truth. You deserve to stay broke. You deserve to stay broke. You deserve to stay broke. Nietzsche says that's a significant shift. I'm making the significant shift because I keep shifting myself with money, and I keep giving myself permission to level up, and I stop apologizing. But let me tell you where I am now. This is why it's so cool that my mic wouldn't work. So what happened is that my mic on my computer wouldn't work. I've been debating for the past month whether I'm going to start a podcast, and I got my confirmation. This is probably going to be the first episode of the podcast, but I'm just going to strip the audio because the only mic that would work was the podcast mic that Crystal sent me over a year ago. So that's my confirmation. But let me tell you something. So from 2021, 2022, and 2023, let me get real transparent with you guys. The Lord had me to slow down because there was so much internal work that most of my ideal clients needed to do. And most of that work was stuck in a story about why they couldn't be successful now. And so you're still telling the story that you're broke because they made fun of you at 6. You're not. You're broke because you have exalted them making fun of you at 6. You're broke because your husband left you. You're broke because you're a single mother. You're broke because you don't have a degree. You're broke because you live in the South. No, boo, that is not why you are broke. You are not broke because you are a stay-at-home mom. You are not broke because you are a single mom. You are not broke because you are 55. You are not broke because you are 23. You are broke because of your belief system. And until you radically change your belief system, you are going to find a problem for every solution someone brings you. So the Lord had me to slow down. He literally pulled me back and said, hey, even though you're getting proficient at this, because one of my goals has always been to help Black women make lots of money. Let me be honest. It's to make Black women millionaires, to help Black women be millionaires. Because we have brilliance too. And we are known for our ability to help people solve problems. And we are known for helping everybody eat but ourselves. Shift somebody. Shift somebody. So the Lord had me to spend 2 years. Janelle says a lot of broke people don't realize they're broke. I'm not even talking to them. And that's what's gotten clear for me. The radical change for me is that if you are not a person who knows there is more and is committed to getting more, regardless to what kind of legal, moral, spirit sacrifices you have to make, then the reality of it is that I'm not your girl. And I'm going to respond to some of the stuff in the comments. Renita says fear of failure can be a significant barrier. I'm going to be real transparent with you. If I was drinking coffee right now, I would drink some coffee. But I'm going to say to you, this lie about fear of failure, if you broke, you already failing. You don't have a fear of failure. It's garbage. So for about 3 years, the Lord really held me back. And he said, rub people on their back and help them shift and help them encourage. And I'm going to go ahead and say that again. If you broke right now, you don't have a fear of failure. You're living in failure every day. Every day that you cannot afford to do the things that you desire in your heart. Every day that you keep looking at vacations that you can't take. Every day that you want to help your kids get a house and you can't. Every day that you want to help your kids get a car and you can't. Let me tell you something. The reality of it is you don't have a fear of failure. You have excuses. And I owe you to tell you that. So anyway, somebody say shift. What's next? So in October, I began to get really frustrated. Frustration for me is always an indication that I'm about to shift in a big way. And I began to get aggravated with women making excuses. I'm over women making excuses. Y'all the same people who will fight a bear after you climb over a mountain to help your kids. I do not want to hear this garbage anymore. I don't want to hear it. If you want to keep your story, you're not going to like nothing I say moving forward. You're just not. I don't care that your daddy wasn't there. I don't care that your mama wasn't there. I don't care what your white boss did to you. I don't care that you got divorced 2 times. I don't care. I don't care because I know who your God is and I know what you're capable of. And at this point, I am only interested in people who are over their own excuses. So I began to get really frustrated. I started talking to my team. I'm really, really frustrated. And I realized here was what was happening is that even when I was sowing into people, I was sowing into people who were still in the same situation. And I was like, and one day I was walking and the Lord said to me, you don't have to run slow anymore. And my whole life changed. I spent a lot of years saying, come on, ladies, you can go too. Come on, ladies, you can do it. Come on, ladies, I believe in you. I've told you, you can do it. I believe in you. At this point, either you coming or you not. Either you in or you out. Either you're willing to face the lies that you believe or you're not. Either you're going to be in a different place on December 15th or you not. But I am, and I'm taking everybody who wants to go. So what you're going to see now that Inner Circle has closed is you are going to see me talk a lot more about the $1 Million Expert, where I am inviting particularly Christian Black women to come into a space and learn how to monetize your brilliance. And that's what I'm here for. And if you're like, I still need shifting, great. We have Soul Shift University. You can go over there and you can learn how to manage your think and feeling cycle. But when we were in DC at our gathering, I told my community, I don't have another conversation to rub you on your back about what God has already delivered you from. I don't. If your own desire and the way money has bossed you around isn't enough for you to get up and shift your mind, your marketing, and your money, I ain't got nothing. I don't have anything else to give you. If the fact that right now, most of you can't put your hand on $10,000 isn't enough, what can I say? If you would still rather talk about who did it to you, I don't have nothing else to say. I got a lot of old videos you can watch, but I'm done with that. So what you're going to see in the next couple of weeks is you're going to see some opportunities to come and join my list, and learn how to be a $1 million expert. It is my sincere desire. Many of you may not know this, but Crystal has come to our team as the CEO of Sean Strickland Consulting, which has given me a lot of liberty. It is my sincere desire that it took me 5 years. It took me 5 years to make 1.86 years to make 5 years to make $1.8 million. It is my sincere desire and ability to coach some of you to do it in 1 year. Now, let me tell you this. In 2023, the personal development / coaching ecosystem made $4.9 billion. That's billion with a B. Billion with a B. Somebody say billion with a B. If y'all getting something out of this, y'all let me know. We getting ready to go though. Billion with a B. The projection is that by 2031, it's going to be 6.9 billion. They believe that over the next several years, people are going to spend another $2 billion changing their lives. That means when I'm talking about us making $1 million, I'm talking about a drop in the ocean. But that drop in the ocean would change your world. I'm talking a drop in an ocean. It's $1 billion industry. When I'm challenging us to make $1 million a year, I'm talking a drop in an ocean. Now, somebody may be saying, well, why aren't we talking 10 million yet? Well, I don't talk numbers I haven't made. I'm almost at 2 million. So I can comfortably talk 1 million. But I don't talk about stuff I haven't done because I'm not interested in being a fake expert. I'm interested in being able to say to you, this is what I've done. I know it works. Do it with fidelity and let's produce results. But I can tell you this, that by December 2024, I intend to have a new number that I'm talking about. So I'm interested in those women. Listen. Let's take these last 15 minutes. Let's have some real crucial conversation. If your kids, especially your adult kids, if your husband, if your mama, if your sister, if your best friend, if Cat Williams, Swag Surfing, and Bishop Jakes can get you off course, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. You may want it, but you don't deserve it. And I believe the many are called, few are chosen is really this. Many are called, but very few make the choice that it takes to get there. When everybody was hyped about Cat Williams the other day, I said, all of these people make millions of dollars a year. I don't have no time to be involved in what's going on with them. If you stole the joke, if you didn't steal the joke, you still made millions of dollars. You know what I don't have time to do? To be over here talking about your life. I don't have time for that. And I want some of you to understand that you're easily distracted, especially my good Christians. You are easily distracted by everything that happens in the body. You have made it your business to police and have an opinion on everything that's happening in the body while you sit there broke. You can't put your hand on $10,000 today, but you got commentary about everything that's happening in the body. I got to tell you something, friend. All that ain't your business. All of it's not your business. Now, I'm not saying they're not things we shouldn't talk about. I'm just asking you, how in the world do you have time to talk about everybody business when this is the 5th year you couldn't take your dream vacation? No, it's the 5th year. You still driving to vacation because you can't afford to get on the plane. And I'm trying to figure out who keeps bamboozling you. But I really want to know what value you get. And this is some of it. You're not going to like it, but we just out here. You get to feel spiritually superior while you're financially struggling. You get to be like the Pharisee that says, well, at least I'm not like this tax collector. You not like this tax collector, and you still can't get a new car. And part of this is designed to irritate you. Is there anybody who's a little bit irritated with me right now? I want you to be irritated. I want you to be so irritated that you say, I'm going to prove Sean Strickland wrong. Because this is what I'm trying to understand. Now, let me talk to the prophets. Let me talk to the prophets. How y'all got a prophetic word on who gonna be exposed, who going to the next level, who getting breakthrough, but you can't hear God give you a plan for that business that you've been trying to build since 2006? Can I talk to my intercessors next? How can you hear what's in the secrets of me and Strick bedroom, and you can hear our secret conversation, but you can't hear the Lord tell you how to get a new job? I'm trying to see some things here, because that's why I told you, in order to talk to Black Christian women, we got to have a different conversation. Because the reality of it is that most white women ain't out here engaged in all of this foolishness. They not anybody who really trying to make money. Oh, okay, I know some of y'all don't keep up. Y'all don't keep up with but how you know everything that's going on in your family? Friend, you need a new resume. Friend, you need to build this business. Friend, you got 1,500 books in your basement and you ain't sold before. Friend, you ain't got time for the stuff you've been giving yourself for. And let me say to you, some of you need to quit pretending, because you're doing real good at social media at pretending like you're successful. You're not successful. Your business isn't making $100,000. And some of you need to get some humility and come and let somebody help you who not only knows the strategy, but knows the lies you tell yourself that keep you stuck. Now, from my favorite movie Tombstone, I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll be your Huckleberry. If you tired of being broke, if you done with excuses, if you know you $1 million girl, if you want to have a different testimony at the State of the Union address next year, I'm your girl. If you want to keep them same raggedy stories, if you want to keep blaming your ex-husband, your former pastor, if you want to keep one foot in the world and out of the world, if you want to keep saging and you want to keep talking to your ancestors. And let me just say this. I know y'all didn't ask me, but this is the thing I don't understand. I don't understand why y'all want to talk to y'all ancestors when y'all don't even like the family that's living. Y'all don't like all the family that's living, but y'all want to talk to ancestors you don't know. Jennifer says, how does one work with you? Well, Inner Circle has closed. So over the next couple of weeks, you're going to start seeing these $1 million expert posts. You should get on the list. You should get on the list. People are reaching out. Passion, can I work with you one-on-one? You can work with me for one-on-one. $1,000 an hour. That's the rate this quarter. Because not only am I good at shifting people, now I'm good at making money. So we got 11 minutes. If anybody has any questions that you would like me to ask, if anybody has any excuses that they would like to throw up so that I can shoot them down this morning, go ahead and throw, like, whatever the stuff is, the lies that you hearing through your head, go ahead and put them out here and let me just blow them up for you. Because today I got grenades. I got machine guns, I got shotguns. Because the truth of it is that if you are in the same place this time next year, it won't be because I didn't tell you. So does anybody have any questions? If you are not already on my email list, you should go to Centuries. Can you put it up? But I think it's www.shiftwithshawn.com. Shiftwithshawn.com. There is a list that is coming. That list has not come. I also got to tell y'all this. If y'all keep signing up for people lists and then marking them as spam, you can't get the information. I'm just tired of us fronting. I'm tired of us looking good, but you broke. I'm tired of you helping everybody, but you broke. I'm tired of you not even being able to go and do the things you really want to do because you broke. I'm tired of you being a best kept secret. And I'm tired of you telling them the same lies. And I hope you're tired of them too. No, I'm so not playing. Because this is for the fast class. Because I believe it's a group of women out here and you've been praying for this. You've been praying for this. You're tired of being stuck. You're tired of being broke. And more importantly, you know you are called to be a world changer. You know you have something to offer the world. And you're tired of doing the same things and not getting results. And at this point, them the only women I'm talking to. Anybody else who here, that's good for you. But you're the only women I'm talking to. Everything else you want to shift, you still trying to forgive, go to Soul Shift You, go listen to Think and Feeling Cycle and do that. I'm ready for the runners now. Runners. So if you're a runner, and you're ready, put in here $1 million expert. $1 million expert. Can I tell y'all one last thing? One last thing. Church girls. Where are my church girls at? Let me see some fire and heart for the church girls because I love the church girls. Oh, thank you, Dexter. Let me hear from my church girls. If you're a church girl, can I help y'all? One of the biggest challenges for church girls is that you use church to get high and not strategy. And the reason so many of you love lives and you love revivals and you love conferences is because you use church like cocaine. And you use prayer like cocaine. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. You're broke. I have a solution. You've been praying for a solution. What you need to pray about, whether that's the program for you or not. Because you use prayer and you use church and you use fasting and you use seeking the Lord like a drug. And you like to get high off of what you heard from the Lord, not what you're seeing. That's why you always want a new word. That's why you always want a new prophetic word. That's why you always want to, that's why you love the prophets. That's why you want to know if somebody, that's why you want somebody to call your name and say, Monique, I see millionaire status on you. Do you see millionaire status on you? Because it don't matter what I see on you. Some of you have been prophesied to by the best and the worst, and you still in the same situation. Because you use church to get high. You run to church. You want to shout. You have high-fived everybody in your natural church and the virtual world, and you still broke. And you ain't acted on one word. You got 37 books in you. Girl, we can't read no books in your belly. And every time it's time to move, you either got to pray about it, but you ain't pray when you went to Target and put that stuff in your basket. And you didn't pray when you gave your cousin that money you couldn't afford. That is fear. That is garbage. And we are done with it. And you're too churchy. And you got to learn how to make some moves that are going to move you forward and quit singing old Negro cliches about what you getting ready to see while you stay in the same raggedy situation. Stop using church as a drug. All right. Listen. I'm about to go because I got another book to write. I got a book to write today, but I am going to give you an opportunity to sow today. But I actually think this is the last time that I am going to give people an opportunity to sow, because some of y'all are using cash apps to avoid work. And I actually don't want to be a part of that no more. And I think the reality of it is that if somebody got to tell you to sow, you don't even understand what we're talking about. Because it's just given if somebody gives you a word that changes your life that you ought to sow. But some of y'all use them cash apps to avoid not to take the program. And you say you don't have the money to take the program, but if you look at the places you have sown, you could have done took 4 programs. So I'm going to do it today because I believe that this is a profound word, but I don't think I'm doing that no more. Because I don't want to be I don't want to be out the pusher. So this is your 2024 seed over here in Sean Strickland. The rest of the stuff you're going to have to take a program for. Because I'm not interested in getting rich while you stay broke. So if you feel led to sow, the only seeds I'm interested today is your seed that's a commitment that you go be $1 million girl, that you're going to be $1 million expert. The seeds that I get today are people that I'm looking to be able to hold accountable, people that I'm looking to be able to see in programs, people that I'm looking to be able to see the work, people that I'm looking to be able to slide in your DM and say, why you got so many opinions about this? How much money did you make this month? I'm looking for something new. I'm looking for something new. All right. We got 2 minutes. Any questions, thoughts, comments? Oh, okay. One more thing. This go seem mean. If you're not willing to get on my list, get my emails, watch my podcast, watch my lives, stop coming in my inbox asking me for answers. Because the truth is you don't want answers, you want attention. My inbox is now reserved for new people and for people that are demonstrating that they want to do the work. But if you just want to tell your story, go get a therapist. I'm done with that. If you're too busy to watch the video, I'm too busy to respond. Ooh, that sound cold, don't it? Ooh, we shifted, baby. We shifted. I've given too much value for you to stay stuck. I'm for helping people who want to make progress. If you want to make progress, I'm your girl. You're going to show that by getting on the list, reading the emails, responding, not by coming to my inbox for a personal audience. I'm over that. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? Because we literally have 1 minute now. We have 1 minute. We have 1 minute. This is what's next. I told y'all what was next. For those of you who like, Pastor Sean, I'm stuck. Great. Most of you took my class. What to do when you how to start from class, ground zero is $25. Go in the inbox, pull it up, do it. All right, we got 45 seconds. Hey, Pastor. So if you're not on my list, go to www.shiftwithsean.com. There's going to be a new list coming, $1 Million Experts. Shift with Sean is going to be all things General Sean Strickland. $1 Million Expert is going to be things specifically for women who are ready, and men, if you're willing to come, men who are willing to learn how to build their expertise. If that's you, get on the list. Pay attention. Turn your notifications on for me so you know what I'm posting. And then let's go. All right. Thank y'all for hanging out with my State of the Union address. God bless you. Thank you to everybody who's sowing. I receive your seed, and I pray that this time next year you are boldly standing here with me as $1 million expert and $1 million expert. and a $1 million girl. What would you recommend a good video to watch as we wait for $1 million expert? The best video I have is on YouTube. It is called, I think it's called How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself. It is the best video I have about switching your mind. That's the best one that I have. Everybody should watch that video. And if you're on my list, Santrisa, could you send out an email in the next 24 hours telling everybody to go and watch that video? And that's the best thing I have. How to change your mind. Because if you don't change your mind, nothing else is going to happen. All right. Can I hear from all my $1 million experts? If you made a decision to be a $1 million expert this year, can I see it in the comments? I want you to say, I am a $1 million expert. I want you to go ahead, whether you don't think you have any expertise or not. $1 million expert, I need to see it as we go. And now I'm about to go and keep building a $1 million empire. I love y'all. $1 million experts. Let me see it. Let me hear from you. I am a $1 million expert. I am a $1 million expert. Let's go. Let's take some space. Let's get some of these bees. All right. God bless y'all.